The goal of this video is to show how to configure HMIBSC as SiteManager. Few steps are required to configure the SiteManager. We will see first where to download the SiteManager file. Then, we will switch to HMIBSC to install the SiteManager. Then, we will initialize the 4G card for internet connection. Then, we will connect to the Gate Manager to see our SiteManager and attach a license. Finally, we will create a Link Manager account in order to connect to our target. You can find the SiteManager installation file on Schneider Electric website. Unzip the SiteManager file and copy it into a USB key at root directory level. Then, disconnect the USB key to the PC and connect it to the HMIBSC. From the HMIBSC, log in as root. Create a directory. Then, mount the USB key. In the next step, we are going to create a temp directory and copy the delivered file. We move to the directory we created. Check that the file is well copied. Uncompress the file with the following command. Run the installation command. Now you have to enter the information of your Gate Manager account. You will find this important information in the email you received when you ordered a license for EcoStruxure Secure Connect Advisor. The Gate Manager certificate. The password. The Gate Manager URL. Then, the IP address of the Gate Manager, and the domain token. Enter the IP address of the Gate Manager. Enter the domain token. Enter the appliance name. This is the name showed in the Gate Manager to identify your SiteManager. Depending on your network architecture, it could be necessary to add proxy address. In my example, the HMIBSC is connected to Internet through 4G card. In this case, we have to fill the APN, username, and password of the SIM card. Reboot the HMIBSC to complete the installation. Now we can initialize the 4G card. The initialization of the 4G card completed successfully. It is now connected to Internet with this IP address. We can check that it is connected to the Gate Manager by the following commands. You can see that it is connected to the Gate Manager, but there is no license. Now we will switch to Gate Manager to attach a license. To connect to the Gate Manager, use the certificate received in the email and the associated password. At the first connection, for security reason, you have to change the password. We can see our SiteManager previously configured. The icon shows that no license has been attached to this SiteManager. Select and attach a valid license. If we switch to the HMIBSC, we will see that the status of the SiteManager has been updated. Back to the Gate Manager. Now, as domain administrator, we will create a Link Manager user account. The Link Manager user will receive an email with a Link Manager certificate and a password. Use the certificate and password received by email when the Link Manager has been created. At the first connection, you have to create a new password. When using a PC for the first time, the Link Manager needs to be installed. From this page, you can download and install it. After the installation is completed, start the Link Manager. You can see here the Link Manager. If needed, configure the web proxy. After this configuration, the Link Manager status should be ready. Select your SiteManager, and click on Connect All, to access to your target. We can ping to validate that the connection is established. Now you can securely connect to the Node-RED server of the HMIBSC.